welcome. You have just joined the Wilbert, Poppa, Jarrett, and Eric Mays talk show.
And that's Mr. Jarrett, Effie's baby boy.
And this is Councilman Eric Mays of the City of Flint, First Ward.
First Ward. Poppa, I think what we finna do here, we on a journey to try to educate people as to what's going on in City Hall. And you know, it's always something going on. Right now, I guess people can see from the mask we got on, we in the middle of a pandemic. This coronavirus has ran rapid through Detroit and Flint. So we figure we better come out and speak. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you inviting me, Councilman Mays, and this is very serious. Stay at home, number one. Cover your face and your hands when you go out in the public. We know too many people personally that has died from this virus.
That's correct.
And it's a pandemic.
We ain't seen a pandemic since 1917, 18, they tell me. My mom, Rosie B. Mays, she was born in 37, mother passed in 2016, she never saw one. This reminds me of like the Twilight Zone, a science fiction movie. We walking around with gloves and masks and people are getting infected and dying. Do you think it's time, today is May the 18th, do you think we can open everything back up in the next 2 weeks? What's your thoughts on that?
Some businesses, such as golf courses, landscaping businesses, some construction, especially outdoor construction, roofers, concrete people, bricklayers, but the gyms, no. The churches, no.
I ain't had a haircut in weeks. That's why I'm wearing this hat, y'all. So what about barbershops and beauty shops?
Well,
Poppa, you ain't got as much hair as some of us, so you know, I want you to don't be biased on this.
Yeah, I'm my own barber. Maybe you need to be your own barber. But this is, I know we kidding about it, but
oh, it's serious.
This is serious.
I'm looking at that barber that just been cutting hair out in a Wasso. They done now took his license. I'm saying to myself, this is kind of wild. I've got to make a decision along with City Council. Do we allow the mayor and others to open up Flint when everybody else open up? I think I want to wait till July and review it. I ain't ready to open up at the end of May and June because it's people dying this weekend. They still dying.
How do your other council members feel about that?
Well, Poppa, I was looking at the ordinance. It's called the State of the Emergency Ordinance. And this ordinance here tells us when and how we can take care of business in the city of Flint under emergency. And what struck out to me is this, and I don't know if the council knew it, it says in so many words that well, not so many words, this is what it say. The city council of the city at a general or special meeting during the emergency as provided by the charter made by resolution amend, modify, rescind such orders, rule, or regulations promulgated by the mayor hereunder in the emergency. We can change them, amend them, modify them. If he want to extend the curfew and we want to drop it, if he want to try to change the rules and bring people back, we can override it. I don't think the council know. I don't think they understand it. And then if you read it further, it goes on to say when the mayor make a rule or propose a change. I know he done formed this blue ribbon committee. It says he should expediently come to us for our approval. And I don't think that him or the people in the Blue Ribbon Committee understands that or know that. And so I'm now starting to pull this out at the next council meeting, trying to show it to the mayor and or the council. We'll see what they think and what they do.
Where are you reading from, that document in your hand? Is that the charter, law, what is that?
This is the law. This is the city ordinance.
Ordinance, okay.
This is the city ordinance. You can go online and you can find it as a public document, and you want to look at the city ordinances for state of emergency. And you want to look at stuff anywhere in the chapter 14, chapter 14-5, all the way down through 14-28. Okay. And it'll tell you how the Genesee County Sheriff becomes the emergency manager. It tells you how the mayor's power under an emergency kind of diminishes and goes down when the governor declares an emergency. And I don't think the council and even the mayor really know, because right now we deep into it, and he haven't convened the council meeting yet, but he's convened the Blue Ribbon Committee. So I gotta try to politely tell folks and show folks who's gonna make the decisions of the rules and the laws of the city, even in an emergency. We don't give up some of that power.
I got one other problem. While I got you here, I got a bone to pick with the council. I went to sleep at 2:30 at the last council meeting. Started at 5 o'clock, and I was told that it would last to 4:45. What's the problem? Nobody is supposed to be working. If they are, they're working from home, number one. And number two, what's the problem with the council convening in the daytime instead of starting at 5 at night to last to 5 to the next morning? And every time y'all have a council meeting, I go to sleep around, usually I go to sleep around 11:30 and y'all still be going, and I wake up and the council meeting lasted that one to 3. So it ain't just one council meeting now. So what's the problem?
I don't know if it is a problem. This is my position, and then we can decide if it's a problem. I have no problem starting a meeting at 9, 10 in the morning. We might then be through by 3, 4, or 5 in the evening. That's okay. Everybody at home, these meetings are on the phone, and the governor's executive order is for the first time giving us an opportunity to meet on the phone. This is the time when we should have a meeting on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whether it lasts 3 hours, 4 hours, but they only want to meet, seem like one day out of the month, Poppa, and then they start at 5 and it go long. I made a motion in that meeting before you went to sleep to recess it and then come back the next day at a decent hour. We have that opportunity. We are the legislative branch. We can have legislative sessions. We can do just like Washington and Lansing. We can start on one day, recess, come back the next, and we can do that 2, 3 days in a row. So I'm a former GMUAW worker. I done did the 3rd shift. I done did the 2nd shift, and I done did the 1st shift. You got the right to go to sleep. I got to take care of business. I got a city to run, and it's an emergency. We need to be meeting in this emergency, taking care of the business.
But how coherent is a council at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning? I heard one council person voted the wrong way, supposedly voted the wrong way. Allegedly, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Voted the wrong way because this person had to go to the restroom. And when they came back, they didn't have the proper information, and they voted yay instead of voting nay because the person was in the bathroom.
According to what they said. I'm smart enough to know if I vote wrong, I can put a motion for reconsideration. If you really watch our council meetings, you done seen council people, and we got vehicles where folks can change their vote. If a person really want to change their vote, at least try it. Don't just say I voted wrong. At least try it.
Okay.
So I'm suspicious of some of these allegedly wrong votes, but it could be. But when I went to the bathroom, I put my phone on mute. I even was cooking my dinner and hamburgers and stuff.
What?
On mute, yeah. So I like the home meetings, but this is temporary because we normally have to be there. You can't conduct business by phone. But that leads me to this budget. This is a proposed $71 million general fund budget. Now this don't include the water fund, but what's being proposed, and in the next 2 weeks we got to vote. Let me ask you this, Mr. Jarrett, and let me ask the people out in the community. Should I, Councilman Mays, vote to approve $71 million in spending when we only taking in 56 or 59 million? It could be less because things done change. Do I vote on this in the blind, or do I vote on 59 million and say, come back to me and show me what you want? We haven't had time to review this, and the deadline, the vote is in 2 weeks. What would you suggest I do? Vote and trust everybody, or chop it back down to 59 million, keep the 22 million in reserve and say, come to me every month and let me see what you need? What's the right thing to do? I know what I'm gonna do, regardless of what you say, but we on TV. I'm just asking a question. What should we do, sir?
Well, that's what that was gonna be my reply to you. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna make a proposal to the council that we do a budget instead of for 71 million, for about 59. That's the projected revenue, but it could be less if things don't go right. And we don't know how much money we're gonna get from the state and the federal government. I predict right now, in the middle of this pandemic, the state say they got 3.2 billion coming in. The city of Flint right now, in my mind, need about 12 to 20 million right now to catch back up from unexpected spending. So I plan to make a proposal to the council to only do a $59 million budget, and every month they can come to us after we go back to meeting. But I can't vote for something that I don't know the details. This proposed budget is the first budget like this we done had in at least 4 or 5 years. I've been the finance chair. I've done budgets. I had to get the emergency manager out. I had to balance the budget. When Scott Kincaid, Jackie Poplar, Neely and them was on the council, we had a $9 million deficit. Since I've been on there, and since others have worked, and some of them have came and gone, we've got the deficit down from 9 million, and now we got a $24 million, $24 million savings account. Now they want to spend it in one budget. And I'm like, I can't pull the trigger that fast. I got to put it back at 59 and make them come to me. I can't open up the banking account like that.
The difference in the 59 and 71 is 12 million. How much of that 12 million deficit got to do with the emergency under the lead water fund?
I can tell you about that. Let's take a break. Welcome to the Wilbur, Poppa, Jarrett, and Councilman Mays show. It'll be something valuable come out of this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Wilbur, Poppa, Jarrett, and Eric Mays show. Before we took our break, Councilman Mays was going to attempt to explain to me and you as the viewing audience as to where that emergency money from the lead water crisis that we had in the past. We ain't talking about the emergency pandemic that's at hand that we dealing with right now. My question to the council person, Eric Mays, Mr. Know it quite a bit, explain to me where is the money from the state of Michigan that was promised to the city for the lead water crisis.
Poppa, you referring to that 600 or 700 million that came in, about 30 million or more from movie stars and celebrities. You talking about all that money that came in during the water crisis.
Correcto.
Well, some of it went to Genesee Intermediate School District. Some of it, they say, went to a YM or YWCA in Lansing. We ain't figured out what that had to do with the water crisis yet. Some of it went to the United Way Hurley Hospital and a variety of things. A small amount came to the city of Flint. So now that we're in this emergency, what should we say? Should we say money can come in and go all around? All I'm saying is that I want at least 5 to 12 million now to come in and fill the gaps from this pandemic emergency. I don't know if we'll ever find out where all that other money went in the other emergency, but it's similar because we need money to come in this emergency. Mayor Weaver and her crew and the activists did a heck of a job lobbying to get money in. There was a lot of people went to Washington and they did a heck of a job. Right now in this emergency, I can't tell you other than I'm doing it here on TV. I'm trying to spark people to start asking for amounts certain that come to the city of Flint. We've lost about, by doing no water shutoffs. That's how much money the water bills done dropped a month. And we're in the 6th month. Mr. Neely ain't shut water off since November, but now we gotta make that up. This is May. If you lose 500 to 700 a month, we gonna have at least a $3-4 million shortfall in the water fund. The water and the sewer fund, that money come in from revenue. That's separate from the general fund. The general fund money comes from property tax, income tax, and revenue sharing. Them are the 3 main sources. That's the pot of money that's projected to be 59 million, and they want to spend 71 million. I'm like, we better make that budget to stay on track be 59 million, keep that saving, and see what we do. The water and sewer fund, we must fight hard to get that fixed back right, because that can mess you up. And so council ain't been meeting. If you think that other meeting went long, it's 2 weeks left. We got caught off guard in the middle of the pandemic. We ain't got enough time to do this budget in 2 weeks because we got to look at each department: police, fire, street, water. And if you think that one meeting went long, you sure enough been went to sleep and wake up if we try to tackle this in one day. Now I can see if the day is the 18th and we meet for 3-4 hours on the 19th, 4-5 hours on the 20th, 3-4 hours on the 21st, so on. But if the council don't meet regularly, whether they have a long meeting or a series of short meetings, this budget won't be properly done. And we've got to do that by law before June 1st. Today is the 18th. We'll meet tomorrow. I'll urge them to do it right, but you got people, man, on the council that's kind of new. And then you got some of them that's been around. The longest council person been around is myself and Monica Galloway. I won in 2013. But I've watched this process for years, and I've participated in it. So, do you see some of the dilemma that we're in on the work that we have to do? Not only do we have to do budgets, but we got to make these emergency ordinances and rules as far as opening up the city and the policy and rules that we have to put in place in order to try to get the city back running. That's why I want to push opening them back up the city right now to about July the 1st. I'll review it. If they open the state back up and that number in Flint and Detroit and they all over pick up, they're going to have to shut it back down, in my opinion. I'm not going to come out the house anyway, maybe to July, as far as regular. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm out now, but I'm saying it's rare. I'm out now because I'm a frontline worker. I'm jeopardizing myself with you, and you jeopardizing yourself with me because I'm trying to communicate to the public. I'll come out to go to the grocery store. I'll come out to do that job. I see you moving this little glass up. We want the community to know we separated.
That's right.
They don't know that with this TV stuff. Go ahead, Papa.
So you got, well, the council voted for a parliamentary to come some months ago. Where is that parliamentary? Could that parliamentary...
How you remember all that stuff? You be watching these council meetings.
Well, parliamentary, in my personal opinion.
I'm a good parliamentarian. Why won't they use me?
We need somebody to put some fire under that city council. We need somebody, since you described the dilemma that you guys is in, I don't know if the parliamentarian, if y'all had a parliamentarian in place, that parliamentarian could have made it happen where you guys could have an orderly process to have meetings, committee meetings, and so forth and so on. I don't know
I disagree with you.
Well,
what is it that the parliamentarian can do? For example, when I've been removed from the council, meetings, you can hear me on the tape saying, point of order. That means everything should stop. But then you'll hear somebody say, get him out of here. They don't, when you say point of order, they should stop. Everybody stop that. What's your point? What you think the parliamentarian gonna do? Tell the council,
have a meeting.
Mays is saying point of order. The parliamentarian don't call our meetings.
They don't.
2 or more council people or the mayor can call a meeting. The parliamentarian can only suggest to the council in a meeting, you should recognize that point of order. You can't do this, you can't do that. But as far as calling the meetings, that's on 2 or more council people or the mayor. Them are the only 2 entities in the city of Flint who can call a meeting. The parliamentarian could have kept me from getting arrested if the parliamentarian said, he's saying point of order. Y'all can't arrest him, you gotta say, what's your point? That parliamentarian, you'd have thought we'd have seen that person by now. We ain't seen that person yet. We'll see if it's a fair parliamentarian or not. I'm scared of it. The real parliamentarian is 5 or more council votes. A dispute come up, you vote. Everything by council is gonna be 4 or 5 votes. Right now, you got 4 or 5 of them running together. They not checking the budget. I get that. They not checking the budget. They not looking at the banking accounts. They just voting yes. One of them say, I believe whenever the mayor say yes, I should vote. I believe we have to ask questions. We have to check on contracts and bids. And we got subpoena power. We got the right to subpoena people and put people under oath. When they threw me out, in my opinion, wrongfully, and Papa, you know I got some lawyers now, but when they threw me out wrongfully the first time, I had subpoenaed Governor Rick Snyder and Rich Barrett to show where that $700 million went that didn't get to the city in some cases like it's supposed to. This year, when they threw me out wrongfully, in my opinion, now I done went and got lawyers, and I got beat up wrongfully in Rubes. When all of that happened, I was in the middle of subpoenaing John Gleason because, in my opinion, him and Neely had wrongfully used his office to campaign and beat Mayor Weaver by 205 votes. Councilman Mays do not like people unlawfully interfering with elections. And so it then cost me, vice president, finance chair, because I won't let it go. I'm still gonna try to subpoena Gleason and the mayor, but I'm only one council person. I can't turn my back on people interfering with an election.
So what alternative do the citizen, the voter, or the forgotten voter do about rectifying some of the problems as you and I see it?
Well, one thing they can do, they can call in and make their voice known in council meetings as to how they feel, and some of them do it. They call in and they show up all the time. Another thing that they can do, they can call their council person and say, cut the crap and do business. Another thing they can do, they can be patient. And if things don't work right, you can switch council people, whether it's me, them, or somebody else. So in our democracy, we have 3 or 4 ways to lobby for change, protest for change, and vote for change. Nothing changes. Lobby, protest, vote, but first become knowledgeable. A lot of people don't really know what's going on downtown. They don't even know what some of the disputes are about. They don't know who's right and who's wrong because they ain't reading the documentation. And some of my council colleagues ain't reading it, and we'll get it together.
And while y'all getting it together, me as a taxpayer of the city of Flint is getting shafted, and
you don't stay in the first ward. See, you're looking at the council meeting. I average 12 to 14 calls a day. And when people in my area and all across the city call and they getting shafted, I try to help them individually. That part we don't see. But I got a lot of support because you got to answer your phone. It's been ringing since we here, but it'll show me the missed call. I'll call them back. But that's the work that keeps me from feeling guilty about residents getting shafted. They call me individually and I respond away from the mess.
What can I say to that?
Well, you can help me take some of these calls. Can I send half of them to you?
Yeah, I'll take the call.
I'm happy. I got some help. And that's why I appreciate you coming on. I think this format we using, Poppa, you be knowing most of the answers because we talk all the time, but by us having a dialogue on TV, just as we do on the phone, talking about issues, whether we change them or not, at least we give people good information. Look at our producer guy. He telling us we 14 minutes into a 15-minute segment. Poppa, this might be it until we meet again. What you think?
Well, I think it was a very worthwhile session, and I hope it can perk some of the council people, some of your colleagues, to try to do whatever, all things necessary to get that budget rectified and all these other issues.
Well, let's call this a warm-up show. Let's call it the introduction. Welcome to the Wilbur, Poppa, Jarrett, and Councilman Mays show. This is our first one. It's a warm-up. Buckle your seats, get ready. We'll see you each week. God bless you, Poppa. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See y'all again. Holla at me. 810-922-4860. That's the councilman's cell number. We'll try to put it on the screen.